Sometimes people don't even greet. They come to the shop. Purukutu, how much is this? I'm like, oh, can't you even just say hi? Just hi. Hello, Zulu. Oh, hello, who's at the shop?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We forget these small things. And then you complain, no, there was better service by the shop. But you did not greet me.
Exactly.
Just say, Zulu, good morning. Good morning. How much are the socks? It's $100.
When you travel as a Namibian, you want to take Namibia with you. But sometimes the pieces are just a little bit too big. One man by the name of Pinehas Shikulo, also known as Zulu Boy, came up with the idea of selling socks. Not just any socks, but Gweri socks. Now you have Namibia with you everywhere you go. Today he joins us and tells us more about Gweri Vintage. I'm your host Sij, and this is Africa Speaks. Welcome back to Africa Speaks. I've already introduced myself. We're joined by Pinehas Shikulo, also known as Zulu Boy. Welcome to Africa Speaks.
Thank you so much for having me. Every interview that I have, it's always like the first time. So I'm very nervous.
Oh, don't be
It's a
nervous.
joke.
Just me.
It's a joke.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to start off on a personal note. Tell us a bit about yourself and your childhood.
Well, I grew up in many environments. My full name is Pinehas Shikulo. Of course, I like to be called Zulu. I got the name as a nickname when I was in South Africa. They thought I was Zulu.
Okay.
And that's how I thought, oh, let me just call myself Zulu Boy. I grew up in the northern part of Namibia. Did my kindergarten there. I came to Windhoek to do my primary school. I went back to the north again to do my high school. Came back to the city again to do my university. So that's what I'm saying. I grew up in quite a lot of settings. That's more of my background. My background, I was very quiet. I loved arts. I think that's where I discovered a lot more about myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about your swag. You have a vintage swag. Why vintage in this era?
I think it speaks to me. I'm more, when I wear like this, I'm more at home. And also what I've discovered when you wear this kind of way, it reminds quite a lot of people about when growing up. Sure. And also it's easier for me to have conversations with people, whether it's young, whether it's elders, because we live in a society where once I see you for the first time, people always start to judge you also. But this is just me, basically. I just feel when I wear like this, I feel at home.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. You studied visual art.
Yes.
You are a visual artist.
Yes.
Where did you study it, and why did you choose that career path?
But as I said, by birth, I was a visual artist. When I finished my high school, I thought I wanted to become a computer technician. I loved computers so much. And then I wanted to go in the field of IT, but later I just realized, it's too much reading, there's no much creativity.
Yeah.
And then I changed my courses from IT to being a visual artist. When I was at university, at UNAM, University of Namibia, those 4 years was just like a week for me. I was so happy, so excited, whatever I was doing. I think I was it was relating to what I'm doing. And during that time, I was doing music. I think it was just speaking to me. So from there, it just started off. I just started doing quite a lot of work. I've done murals, big paintings, and then I think I was just like, okay, I think I need to express myself through this kind of work. Yeah.
All right. You also recently branched into pyrography.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know what type of art that is.
Yes.
Just tell us a little bit about that type of art.
You see, during my journey, let me put it this way, I like attention, but good attention. So now what happened is I started exploring different methods of doing art, because as an artist, you need to discover yourself. You need to find a way you are represented. You need to find a mark so that when people see your work, they should know it's your work. I quite did a lot of techniques, because also in university I was exposed to different techniques, which is painting, which is photography, which is graphic design. And then I decided, what if I discover something a lot of people don't know that kind of technique. So the technique is more of you burning wood.
Okay.
But with burning wood in an artistic way, burning wood in a way that I can have your picture or an image on the wood. That process for me, it's quite easier to do, and it's easier process for me to do my work, because with art there's so much time that you need to invest in. And right now I have so many things that I'm doing, business, visual art. I have an agency now, so it's quite a lot of things. So I just thought of what can I do that I'm not gonna spend so much time on it, but if I have to spend time, if it's a bigger piece, then which means I might require to have time, but I can always fit in my busy schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're also an artist, part of Amadeus Floor.
Yes.
Are you still doing music?
Of course, you can never retire from music. When people say you have retired, there's nothing like that. Music has been part of my life. I've been doing music for 10 years, 5 albums. So music has put me in a position where I am today. So that's why I can never leave music. I'm still part of the group, as it's only right now that we are focused in different areas and businesses. But I mean, yeah, we are still together and we are still doing music. We still have, and we have, I mean, we've won a NAMA award. We still have quite a long journey. I'm still entering my early 30s, so I still have time to, explore other things and see how I can make more, venture and make more money out of it.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
What brings you us today is Gweri Vintage.
Yes.
When did it start and why the name Gweri?
You see, everything that we do, everything that we bring or come up with is things that came back in the days. Gweri Vintage was, starting up. It's a whole story of coming from home. When growing up, we're in a position where my parents could treat us the same. If, for example, you are raised at our house, you are treated the same the way how your
parents will treat you.
Yes, exactly. So when I came to realize about society is in a way that people are divided. Like some has money, some don't have access to money. So it's all like that in society. So growing up, I was brought up in a family home where society was in one cup. Now, stepping out of that, being my own, being in the street, being understanding people, it's not like that. So I wanted to bring a brand that can unify people. There's a word in it's a local phrase that we use, a Gweri. A Gweri is more like a person who's not cool. Like, you need to be at the level, so you are not a Gweri. If you don't know things, then you are a Gweri. So I wanted to portray myself that so that it's easier for me to tap in everyone's market.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to, if for example, if you're a Gweri and you're not a Gweri, it's easier I can chill with both of you guys. Then once if I can chill with both of you guys, then I can learn one or two from you guys. So that's the whole term. And also what I found out, Gweri, it comes also from a word, guerrilla, back in the days when we had, from the South Africans, we are called guerrillas, fighters.
Yes.
So in short, we are Gweris. So also means being a fighter. So I took those two and combined and like, okay, I guess I'm a Gweri. Why not unify the people and bring together the people and come up with a brand that speaks to anyone. So even if right now I tell someone, hey, I have Gweri sock, you're like, what? Do you think I'm a Gweri or what? It becomes a conversation. Then once it becomes a conversation, that's how we create more ideas, and that's how it's more relatable to people. And then from there, we started with the brand in 2018. we are so fortunate that we have really partnered up with Namibian big companies. Oh, the likes of Gondwana, MTC, Standard Bank. I mean, the big cats in the industry. And for us as a small brand, we are so fortunate to work with these people, and we are still working with these people. And what people say, if you can dream it, you can really make it.
Yes.
And I think we are very lucky and fortunate. And for a fact that we have not even launched most of our catalog, we have not launched most of our bigger products, it's a blessing for us. Yeah, but the journey has been amazing. It's an ongoing journey, in and out. Hopefully one day we can have so many stores around the country. Our brand can be internationally recognized, and have everyone have a piece of our Gweri.
All right.
Yeah.
I've got some Gweri socks here with me.
Yes, very colorful socks.
Very colorful
Yes,
socks.
yes.
So tell me about your designs. What
So
inspired
what happened is, before COVID, at the beginning of COVID, when COVID-19 was in, I decided to do a small drive where I get donations from my friends, donate water and soap to the less privileged, and I was just cautioning them, like, guys, we have COVID-19 that is on the rise. Take care of yourself, wash your hands, because the time there was more emphasis on washing your hands. And then the bank, like Standard Bank, saw the initiative. They loved the initiative. They saw the drive and that I have with my community. Like, on my spare time, I always like to spend time and understand what is going on, because it's also my responsibility as a citizen. At the end of the day, we shouldn't just wait for the government to do everything for us. As individuals, we also need to take a part. And the fact that I have worked with corporates, so we came on board with, there's a project called Buy a Brick. What Buy a Brick does, Standard Bank does, is they collect funds and put it under a Buy a Brick initiative where they build. They give it to Shack Dwellers Federation, and Shack Dwellers Federation builds houses for people living in shacks. Oh. Yes. So currently this initiative was launched with the First Lady, if I'm not mistaken, around 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So they build houses for people living in shacks. They've built houses around the country. They've built thousands of houses around Namibia. So, and then we came up with this initiative with the bank, Standard Bank, of what can we contribute? How can we contribute to this initiative? So we came up with footprint socks. Okay. So what we do is, once you raise this fund, it goes to Buy a Brick campaign. Okay. And then we build houses for people living in shacks. When we started with Gweri socks, we started with very colorful. The idea of why I started with colorful socks is because I was a fan of happy socks. Yes. And then my partner and I decided, why do we have to keep on wearing happy socks if we can produce our own colorful socks with our own Namibian designs that speaks to our people. From there, we started with the Gweri socks, and then this is how we came up with the footprint socks. This is actually the latest designs that we did. They're called active sport socks. Okay. So which means they are different from your normal casual socks. Even the way they are made, the texture is quite different. It's also very comfortable for
very
people.
Strong.
Yes, it's very comfortable, especially for people that goes to the gym, especially people that cycle, especially people that runs. It's more different from, and yeah. So, you even asked me what is my favorite design. Yes. It's the most difficult thing. I think every pair has its own story. Yes. Especially this one is more inspired by the whole Namibian flag. We wanted to play around with the colors. You see here we have the houses. You see the black and white, the houses onto it. Also here the houses. We have sort of like the footprints. Yeah, footprints. So also all these colors contribute to where we are from. Like for example, the brown, we have this kind of brown sand. This is the blue from the sea. So every color or every design that we put in thought, or I personally put in thought, is just how can we represent ourselves. And for example, if I'm in New York or wherever, or in London, or wherever, in Europe or South Africa, wherever, if I see these colors and I'm from Namibia, sort of, I could also relate, like, oh wow, this is home, okay, wow. So that was the whole idea of how do we put ourselves there in the world. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say a tourist comes here, they can't really decide on which sock to buy, but they want one pair.
Yeah.
Which one would you recommend?
Mostly I always recommend with the Namibian colors, just simply because once they go back home, or wherever they are in the world, they remember that at least they were in Namibia. We also, when we started with our socks, we quite had the himba design, the rocks painting, all these features that speaks about Namibia if you Google about Namibia. So we don't have them now, they are finished, but I always recommend designs that are relating to Namibia so that wherever they go or go back home, at least they say, okay, I was in Namibia and this is the features of Namibia.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you guys sell here that is not the socks? What else do you sell in Gweri Vintage?
So as our brand is growing, we decided on to look at collaborations. We started collaborating with Simon and Mary. They are from South Africa. They are quite a big brand in South Africa.
Very big.
And that's why I'm saying we are so grateful we have opportunities like this, because I know with a lot of business it takes 10 years or more years or 5 or more years to have collaboration with big brands, because big brands just wants to make their money and they want to see if that collaboration is worth it. We also decided a small initiative through the shop where we have other local brands, very high-end local brands, simply because we don't also just want to go a road where we want to go alone. So we decided on how can we partner up with local manufacturers. For example, like with the Hendrix, it represents more of the Hendrik Red Boy. So the local young entrepreneurs. So we decided, okay, let's have them in our shop and also just help them and help them sell. We also have Amana. Amana is a very big, it's a international, they do bags for ladies. We are also working on a collaboration with them. So everyone that we have around the shop, it's more of how are we going to collaborate. Because at the end of the year or at the end of, after a few months, we are going to have our launch. So how do we collaborate with these guys? For instance, the heads. I'm busy designing our catalog for the heads with Simon and Mary, also with Amana, all that. Apart from that, we launched a brand called Culture. It's a streetwear where we wanted to focus on the young, because with Gweri Vintage, our focus was on high-end, because our competition, not really our competition, we look at high-end and very quite pricey products. So now we started a brand called Culture. All we wanted to do is to bring in the young. That's why so what we do in Culture, we collect sneakers all around the world. Yeah, authentic sneakers. Then we resell them, and it's more like a reseller. So it's more like a young-ish market. So we wanted to launch also a brand that speaks to the young, so that it's not only focusing on Gweri Vintage. So, but so far it has been an amazing journey for us.
So these are the sneakers that
that's the sneakers that we have. It's more of we collect sneakers and then we resell them. Authentic sneakers, authentic, yes. Yes.
Someone who's outside and wants to get hold of your brand, the socks, how do they get hold of you?
Currently we are working on a system where we are able to ship items outside of the country. Unfortunately, as I said, we are not the biggest business. We still have to cater for. Right now, our focus was to cater for Namibia at least for 5 years. What we can do is, if you need stuff from us, what we could do is we could always courier them, whatever courier services we have. It's not a promotion, but we have a thing, collaboration with DHL. It's not to promote them because no free promos. So we have DHL, for instance, an account with DHL where we get our stuff from outside. But it's just a thing of we are on social media, of what is on our social media, and then what you would want us to send to you. Then we can definitely send you the whole world. As I'm saying, we are launching our clothing line by end of this year. So there is a better possibility for us to start engaging with outside customers. But for now, we want to make sure our brand is well represented in our country. Then we can look at the international market.
And how much are you selling a pair of socks?
A pair of socks casual socks is 100 Namibian dollars. If it's South African, 100 rand. The other active socks, because of how it's made, it's 150. So it's like 150 rand. So what we do is all this proceeding all go to Standard Bank full. So
Full.
yeah, so we just came on board with the design and make sure the process is quite efficient and making sure that people at least are getting their houses, being built. Yeah.
That's a great initiative.
Yeah.
Unemployment rate is very much rising in this country, and as a business person, you want to curb it. How many people do you have working for you?
As I said, I have quite diverse businesses.
Yes.
The reason why I have diverse businesses is just because of cash flow, and also just to make sure that at least I can cater for that, I can cater for that. So currently, under my whole umbrella, because I don't want to be specific,
Yes.
I employ up to 7 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it's an ongoing, as I'm saying, it's an ongoing process. But hopefully one day I'm able to employ 200 people or whatever. Because at the end of the day, we might have a factory to produce this. Unfortunately, we are not producing this in Namibia.
I was going to ask you, what do you get yourself?
They are manufactured in South Africa. The reason why is because no one here is able to produce them. Unfortunately, no one. Yeah. So it's an ongoing discussion we have. That's our ongoing plan. One day to have a manufacturing here in Namibia. Also, the reason why we don't have that is because of the resources. Because coming up with this, you need materials, yarn, and all that. So you still have to import and all those kind of things. So looking at those kind of costs for right now, we are not in that position to run a factory. So right now we are trying to raise funds through whatever business we are doing, and then one day we can have a big factory where we can employ our people.
Hopefully, hopefully. Yeah. In Gweri Vintage, what are some of the challenges that you've faced so far?
The challenges are every day. The challenges are everywhere. The challenge is the fact that, as I'm saying, I cannot produce my stuff here. It's challenging, even with fabrics. That has been our challenge, because now we have fabrics from South Africa. They are printed in South Africa, even to do our clothing. So that has been a challenge, because at the end of the day, you want to see the fabric, you want to touch the fabric every day. You want to be, you want to come close to the fabric, so that when it goes out, you know how it can work and how the people will respond. The challenges has been criticism, of course. People here and there, they come in, oh, we don't like this, we're not happy with service. But it's an ongoing challenge, and that's what I'm saying. We are grateful because we go through these things every day and we learn, you understand? Of course, also sometimes customers also ask the prices, why are they so expensive? You're like, we are trying to come up with something that is high-end, When you go at other shops, you just buy, and the fact that probably we're a local brand, people always have questions. But so I mean, but the support has been there. As I always say, mostly we don't look at challenges. We look at how we have grown through this period of time. That's what I'm saying. We are so grateful that we have really collaborated with bigger cats in the game. And that is, for us, is also a challenge, because now you have to keep up. The challenge is keeping up. Hey, it's not easy, because now you're like, oh my God, okay, from socks now, what should I do? The challenge is, what is the next design? Because every time you need to make sure that people are kept wow. So I think those are the challenges. But we are going, and I'm saying thank you to everyone that has been part of us, with us. I remember the time when we first produced our socks. People used to fight us, like physically they want to fight us, because the demand was high. The demand was very, very high during those times, but we overcame, and it's an ongoing circle.
Apart from Gweri Vintage, where else are you selling your socks?
We are at Gondwana lodges. We also manufacture for the lodges for Gondwana. We have a partnership with Standard Bank, where we sell through activations. We are planning to open up our second shop maybe by the end of the year. So that's where we are currently looking at. We are not looking at having retail, like people to come and buy stock from us, because at the end of the day, we need to control and make sure that everything is perfect. Also, for counterfeit purposes, it also helps us, because at the end of the day, if we allow so many people to sell for us, we might get issues where people are copying our stuff, and at the end of the day, it becomes difficult for us. We also have Nictus. Nictus, it's a furniture store, but we came also on board to work with them, and it has been amazing to work with all these kind of different companies. And Nictus has also been our number one, company that helped us grow until where we are today. Yeah.
To start this business of Gweri socks, finances wise, did you invest a lot of money in this?
Of course, we didn't get a loan. It was just a matter of the money that we had ourselves, me and my partner, and the little. We started with 200 socks. You see, so that's also the reason why we have quite a different companies, is because so that if this business doesn't work, so we are able to finance here and there. So that's more of the idea we have, because if we thought of, if we get a loan now, how are we going to repay for these things?
Yeah.
And also, starting a business, that finance is very hectic. So now you need to understand, you need to how to save, all those kind of things. You need to feel the pressure of you paying someone, because if we got a loan, then obviously we could have messed up. So we had to learn all those kind of things and build to a capacity where we are able to look for bigger loans so that we can expand. So we started on ourselves, and we are here because we started with what we have. Yeah.
As we near to the end, you spoke about you had your own money. So talk to a young man or a young woman out there sitting at home unemployed and has nothing to do.
Advising people.
You can even look into that camera and talk to them.
Advising people is very hectic. It's very emotional. Because some people, you tell them, go and work. They're like, hi, go work where? The simple principle of doing anything in life is know what you want and know what you like. You can only go far in life if you love what you do. For instance, I used to work before having my own business. I used to work for other companies, through my services. But then later on, I decided, let me quit. It was a risk. It was a good risk because it made me more bold. So, and also, it's a step-by-step process. Because people think, you have a shop today. Probably this guy just woke up. He is here now. It's not like that. The challenges has been a lot. Even back, if I go through you, I take you throughout my day. It's very hectic. Like 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock is already hectic. Yeah, very hectic. So that's the challenges every day. But I know you go through up and down. Sometimes it's emotional breakdown. We go all through it, because sometimes people think, this guy is happy all the time. This guy doesn't have problems. The problems are there. You can never stop the problems. So, although even sometimes you don't have a job, we always look at it as, I don't have a job now, maybe will I get a job? What I've learned through, and this is an interesting thing, I was with you at university.
Yeah.
Since I left my university, I've never applied for a job. Never. I've never applied for a job. I only got a job through recommendations. So, which means before any job, I put myself there. Before anything I do, whether I speak to a client, I don't talk about the money. I put myself there. I'm there to sacrifice and make sure that even if I'm getting $10 out of this, I'm making sure my name is there and my portfolio or profile is clean. Because at a lot of times we say, I know I'm not having a job, but then you don't look at what you do, how you represent yourself. The way you represent yourself is very important. How people look up to you. Because at the end of the day, as much as you are the smartest person in life, if you are not down to earth and you don't have the human aspect in you, unfortunately, you cannot go far in life.
True.
And that's what I've learned through my journey of meeting people. When I meet a person, I always say, Zulu, the way I know you 10 years is the way you are right now.
Which is true.
Which is, I live by those principles every day. And I'm still young and I still have a long journey to go. Even with the people that I'm around with, people always say, we don't see you going out. I do go out, but it's just that when I go out, you don't expect me to do certain things what other people can do. So at the end of the day, I try to be myself. Because in society, we have this thing of, I want to be like Zulu. But it's not easy being like Zulu. Just be yourself. Because being yourself helps you overcome a lot of things. Negativity, bad stuff. And so being yourself was the most important thing. And that's before anything. through that, trust me, you'll always get recommendation. You always get jobs. Here I am today. I have not applied for a job. I've worked for bigger companies just through recommendation. They did not even ask me about, did you finish school? They just said, can you work? I was like, I can work. I'm willing to work. I've sacrificed my time. I was not paid overtime sometimes. So all these kind of things. And it's so weird that my former bosses still call me and say, we need your assistance on this and this. So which means for me, relationship is very key. Whatever I do. And what I make sure is I represent myself at the level where whatever job I do is important, and I make sure I need to respect the client, whether they're bigger than me or smaller than me. Respect is also important. So all these kind of things come in play. Once they come in play, that's how you get to know people. And through going out, through seeing people that, oh, you have a job here, I have a job here, quickly. Okay, come do this. Can you do this? Yes, I can do this. But you get a job. But sometimes we go through it thinking, maybe I need to apply. You will apply, but I don't have a job. But you don't think, oh, the reason why maybe I don't get a job is because probably on my social media, I'm insulting people. All these things come in play. There was a conversation we had with someone like, oh, so you think all this social media plays a role in whatever you do? I was like, it does play a role because the way you present yourself is like how you are in society, you see. The way I am on social media is how I am in real life. So there is no a far difference. So when I'm on social media, I'm very observant. I see what I need to say. I need to comment what I need to comment. I've learned that you learn every day as you grow. Making sure what environment you are okay with the environment, because I know a lot of people live in very toxic environment, unfortunately, where they are not happy and all those kind of things. But all these things I've learned, and that's the only advice I can give to the people, because at the end of, I don't want to give unrealistic, like, keep on applying. You don't need always to apply for a job. You just need to know someone's probably. Sometimes, and then, and then that's it. So that's the advice that I have. And that's practical, and that's how life works, unfortunately. We can never run away from those kind of things.
It's true. It's true. And finally, where can we get hold of you, like in terms of social media, social media handles?
With social media, we have my own personal pages with Zulu Boy. I'm at dance floor. Then we have the Gweri Vintage. We are on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter. So through our social media, I'm sure we are able to assist where we can. Sometimes I also come through comments where people say, oh no, we tried to contact you here, but you guys are not responding. But I'm like, it's not always that the case. But also, if you need something, you can always say, Zulu, maybe your social media managers and have not seen my message. I need A, B, and C. Then I'm also able to because people always forget that we are humans and we make mistakes, and that's part of life, unfortunately. I cannot be the best. I cannot also do mistakes because sometimes we have conversations with people like, oh, someone is rude or what. I'm like, yeah, maybe also it's a bad day for them, but also can't you come in a way that you're also friendly? Because if you are rude to me, I might also be rude to you. So if you say, hi, hello, I'm looking for this and this, and we'll reply. Or, hi, I'm looking for this. It's just a simple hi. Sometimes people don't even greet. They come to the shop. How much is this? I'm like, oh, can't you even just say hi? Just hi. Hello, Zulu. Oh, hello, who's at the shop? That's what I'm saying. We forget these small things. And then you complain, no, there was bed service by the shop, but you did not greet me.
Exactly.
Just say, Zulu, good morning. Good morning. How much are the socks? It's $100. But you come to me, how much are the socks? Hey, you guys, why you think and the funny thing, this is the funny thing. Why you think it's expensive? Hi, where are you from? I'm from China. I'm like, are you here to criticize?
Exactly.
Or are you here to build? And because at the end of the day, I mean, once you sell these products, your sons and daughters or your cousins or family members might become part of this family. Now you come and tell me, hey, these hats, why are they colorful? Don't you black? And then you're like, oh yes, oh man, no man. What happened at home? No. So, yeah, but it's very interesting how human behaves, and at the end of the day, what you need to realize is we are all human beings,
Yeah.
and we are here for one purpose: to be happy and to live in a world where we are better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, for making me laugh.
Yes.
And we wish you really all the best, and that whatever you dream for, Gweri Vintage will come a reality.
No, thank you so much for this interview. As I said, every interview for me is important. Every interview for me, it's the first. Just to acknowledge what I've done, and sometimes it's always important just to share your story, because I know one day there might be a certain Zulu boy, and I know we live also in a community where people think, I know this guy is a challenge. It's not supposed to be like that. We all need to support each other. As I say, thank you for everyone for coming to support us. This is also support, you know, in a different way, in a digital way, because we are living in a world where digital things are being digitalized. But this is also sharing a word with other people that hasn't, you know, that don't know about us. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
I'm also wishing you guys also the best. I hope one day you can find another Zulu boy who also inspires people.
Yes.
It shouldn't end here. It should go on, and you know, as I'm saying, we live in times where things are changing now. Back in the days, you just go to the radio, but now we have cameras all around. But I'm also wishing you guys the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we had for you today on Africa Speaks. If you're ever in Namibia and want to take a piece of Namibia with you without costing an arm and a leg, come to Gweri Vintage and get yourself some Gweri socks. I'll be seeing you guys next time, but remember to follow us on our social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, that's at Henok TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Henok TV, and follow our crew, that's at Nelo Media, and of course, Gweri Vintage. From Message and everybody right here, goodbye.